top, man, shit. Make sure you let these niggas know what time it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Get on this motherfucker. Let these niggas know what time it is, you understand? We royalty, nigga.
King Ty really one of the realest. I survive drive-bys from them killers. Like I got 9 lives, I got 9 wives. I said fine wine with them bitches. I'm spitting fire bombs in your city. I got like 8 or 9 niggas with me. And we all ready to die in a minute. One West, we the best in the business. I get offended, I fuck niggas spend it. Talking they get it, but niggas is timid. Rappers is softer than linen. Catch me out parking lot pimping. What more could I give them? I've been the hottest forever. Why would I lie about cheddar? I can do better. I just put loyalty first. Royalty coming whenever. Pull off in the Jetta. Curvy, she on me, you sweater. My flow like wearing a sweater in summertime weather. Hate is so salty, no pepper. You not that seasoned or clever. I'm with the rebel. Used to pump bass with the treble. Baking a cake in a kettle. I used to cook up the work. Now I just cook with the metal. Gotta keep foot to the pedal. Yeah, let me give it gas on the highway. Let the music blast on a calm day. Break the Glock down into 3 parts. Put the 3 together like my Najee. Sippin' like Bombay with my enclave. Got my mind made. Ain't no time waste. No. Eating prime steak with a fine date at a fine place. Getting violated.
Shalom. Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai brought a thumb to the brothers. Yahweh Shamar al thumb Ba'Hashem Yahushai to the sisters. I am priest and officer Shargapan of the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. And since 1969, we have been teaching so-called black, so-called Hispanic, and so-called Native Americans who they really are, according to the Holy Bible. And today what we're going to be talking about is the systematic murder of our people since the beginning of time, even till right now in 2019. With Planned Parenthood, with genocide, with slavery, we're going to be discussing how it all started and can be reviewed and looked at in our history book, the Holy Bible. So what I want you all to do is turn to the book of Exodus. Yes, the book of Exodus, chapter 1. And we're going to start at verse 8.
The book of Exodus, chapter 1, verse 8. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph.
Now, to give you a little bit of a historical background, the children of Israel are now living and have been living in the land of Egypt for quite some time, due to one of the brothers called Joseph, one of the sons of Israel. Now Joseph was second in command over all Egypt and was able to get his family, his people, to live in the land of Egypt. And right now there is a new king that knew not Joseph, that didn't know about how great Joseph was to the Pharaoh, that didn't know all the great things that Joseph did for Pharaoh, that didn't respect anyone that wasn't an Egyptian like Joseph's people. Keep going.
Verse 9, and he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we.
Now this African, this Egyptian, the Pharaoh of Egypt, said to his own people, said to the other Hamites, said to the other Africans, said to his fellow Egyptians, that the children of Israel, the people that descend from the 12 tribes of Israel, are more. Their population has been growing abundantly, and that they are more in number than us, and that they are mightier than us. They are stronger than us. He's admitting that we, our ancestors, we are better than them. Keep going.
Verse 10, come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies, and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land.
So right now, Pharaoh is trying to rally up his fellow citizens, his fellow countrymen, his people. And what he's trying to do is get them to understand that we're so great in number and we're so mighty and powerful that the Egyptians need to have some type of plan in place to deal with us, to deal with the so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, so-called Native Americans, because in case of a war, in case Egypt has to go to war with the Greeks, with the Romans, with the Syrians, with the Persians and the Medes, with the Babylonians, with the Assyrians, whoever Egypt ends up going to war with, these Israelites, these children of Israel might end up joining the enemy of Egypt and might end up joining them to defeat and conquer and rule over Egypt. So, like it said in the last few words, and so get them out of the land. So we must do something to get rid of these people, to get rid of these so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Keep going.
Verse 11. Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses.
And just like they did here in the America and all throughout history, these Egyptians and Pharaoh, these Africans, these Hamites, what they did was they ended up putting us in slavery. They ended up putting slave masters and taskmasters over us, basically putting bosses and managers over us to make sure we stayed in line, to make sure we did whatever they wanted us to do, to make sure that we did not have the spirit to eventually overthrow the Egyptians. And what we ended up doing in this oppression, in this captivity, just like we did here in America, is that we built all these great cities and towns and states and countries and empires. Just like we built the Egyptian empire, we also here in America built the American empire. Keep going.
Verse 12. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel.
And all this didn't stop us. We were still showing how much we grew in our numbers, in our population. We were still having sons, still having daughters. We were still showing how mighty and strong we were. Who else would you think is strong enough or wise enough to come up with a way to build pyramids? Who else do you think has the mental capacity and the strength in numbers and in raw brute strength to build empires like the skyscrapers here in New York City or in the West Coast or all over the world? It was us.
Verse 13. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor.
And they made all the works, all the tasks that they assigned to us, even harder. Imagine having all the equipment to make bricks, to build houses and pyramids. Now, having us go get our own equipment to make these bricks, to go get the mud, to go get the straw, to bake them ourselves. They did everything to us, and they intensified our work. They intensified this slavery. Keep going.
Verse 14. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage in mortar and in brick and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor.
And here you're getting a few examples of what they did to us to make our slavery that much harder, to make our oppression that more difficult, just like they did here in America. Just like they did to the Native Americans, the Hispanics, the so-called Negroes. They made our servitude even greater, putting metal masks over our face so that way we didn't eat the sugar cane although we were starving. Imagine having to serve with rigor knowing that your child was stolen and taken away from you. Imagine being a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old child having to go cut down sugarcane or pick cotton or dry tobacco to sell. They made everything we did harder, more difficult, because we were greater in number, because we were mightier than them. Keep going.
Verse 15. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah.
Now this is where the king of Egypt, Pharaoh, started to devise this systematic murder, this plan to try to murder the children of God, the children of Israel, to murder black, Hispanic, and Native American people back then, just like America, our oppressors, try to dwindle our numbers, try to kill our children today. Keep going.
Verse 16. And he said, when ye do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live.
Now this is the beginning and the inception of Planned Parenthood. How Planned Parenthood is in almost every single community where Black, Hispanic, and Native American people are. Where Black, Hispanic, and Native American women are committing more than 300, 400,000 abortions every year, murdering growing Black, Hispanic, and Native American children. And here we're seeing the same thing. We're seeing a similar plan, a plan of systematic murder. And the reason why Pharaoh wants to kill the males, the children, Black, Hispanic, and Native American little boys, is because he knows, just like all the other people here in this Bible know, just like our oppressors here in America know, that the only way to continue a population, to continue a race of people, is through the seed, through the sperm, through the offspring of that man. And that man will grow and have seed with as many women or with just one woman, and have as many children or even just have one child. But that race, that lineage of people gets passed down through the seed of that man, from father to son, from father to son. And by killing the males with this Pharaoh's systematic murder, his plan to kill only the men and only allow the women to survive, he was trying to guarantee or increase the chances of Black, Hispanic, and Native American people to die, to decrease our population, to wipe us out from the face of the earth. And this is what all of our oppressors have been doing since the time of Egypt. Keep going.
Verse 17, but the midwives feared God, and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men children alive.
And this we sing that these midwives, they feared our God. They feared the Most High Power. And they decided not to listen to Pharaoh. Just like our people today, we have to stop listening to these feminists. We have to stop listening to these Democrats and Republicans. We have to stop listening to these conservatives and liberals. We have to stop listening to our slave masters, to the descendants of our fathers and mothers' slave masters. We have to stop thinking that Planned Parenthood and committing abortions is the best plan for Black, Hispanic, and Native American people. Because it is not. It's systematic murder to decrease our numbers. So that way we don't realize that we are the children of God. So that way we don't realize that our population is a copious amount. You can't even count how many Black, Hispanic, and Native American people there are. We are as like the stars in the sky. We are like the sand the grains of sand that are on the beach, that are on the shore. Innumerable. You can't count us. And if we were to realize how mighty and strong we were and return back to the Lord, we would be able to overcome all of our enemies like we did in Egypt. We'd be able to overcome all of our enemies like we did during the oppression of the Greeks and the Persians and the Medes and the Assyrians. We would be able to overcome our oppressors here in America. And what we have to do is understand that this systematic murder that has been going on against Black, Hispanic, and Native American people since the time of Egypt is still going on today in modern day Egypt, America. I'm Priest and Officer Shargapan. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. And from 1969 until Christ returns, we will keep trying and succeeding at saving Black, Hispanic, and Native American children and their parents. Shalom.
Let nobody tell you crack. You know why? Because I never saw you before. But you a black man like me. And it works, son.
My whole life was trying to find something to follow. Had loyalty, every man tried to borrow. Felt pain and a lot of sorrow. Got betrayed, sold packs. I didn't even have my heart broke. Living confused, about to lose hope. Cops got me on the side of the road like a sideshow. Need an antidote before I croak. Now I'm setting fire to rhythm man blues, for this guitar smoke. Rebel with no cause, trying to find direction. The world got me vexed. Picked up a bad liquor habit that's hereditary from oppression. Felt like my life was on fire, trying to find an exit. Now look, 10 G's plus a good wreck. Sometimes a follower is a soldier, trying to find a good shepherd. Plus when you in hell, how do you excel? With them the breath of life, I don't believe in fairy tale. Listen well to what I tell. No calling can cause pain, something that a rebel knows very well. Can't you tell I was sent from the Lord?